Ladies and gentlemen, good day, and welcome to the Q2 FY23 earnings conference call of VST Tillers Tractors Limited, hosted by Batlivala & Karani Securities India Private Limited. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star, then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Annamalai Jayaraj from Batlivala & Karani Securities India Private Limited. Thank you, and over to you.
Thank you. Welcome to VST Tillers Tractors Limited Q2 FY23 post-results conference call. From the management side, we have with us today Mr. V.T. Ravindra, Managing Director, Mr. Anthony Sarukara, Chief Executive Officer, and Mr. Pankaj Khemka, Chief Financial Officer. I now hand over the call to the management for opening remarks to be followed by the question and answer session. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Pankaj Khemka. So for the quarter ending, for the quarter 2 FY23, the income from operations were 234.15 crore against 233.46 crore for the previous year, same quarter. The EBITDA as a percentage is 13.77% against 16.44% previous year, same quarter. This is operational EBITDA. PAT for the quarter is 22.74 against 32.15 crore previous year, same quarter. However, for the quarter 1 of FY22-23, the EBITDA stood at the PAT stood at 10.05, so it is just double. Volume for power tiller for the quarter is 8819. Tractor volume for the quarter is 1688. The turnover for the different verticals are as follows. For small farm mechanization vertical, the turnover is 136.8 crore for the quarter 2 FY23. For tractor business, we have done 63.31 crore. For the spares business, we have done 23.42 crore. These were the opening comments. We are open to questions.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. We have a question from the line of Dhruv Galada, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. In the month of September, we saw degrowth both in the power tillers and tractor segment. So are you seeing an improvement in the current quarter, and what is the outlook for demand going forward?
Yeah, this is Anthony Sarukara. So we feel that with the onset of the festival in October, the deliveries and retails have been good. So we expect the second half of the year to be better than the first half. The October sales has been, the retails has been reasonable. We expect that to continue into November and December when the Rabi season crops come up for sowing. And so the second half seems better than the first half.
Okay. And what are the volumes for the higher HP tractor, if you could give for H1 FY23? And if you can also elaborate on the response you're seeing in North India in the higher HP segment.
Yeah, higher HP is about 131 tractors in Q2 alone. And in Q1, first half of the year, it is about 300 plus tractors.
Okay.
And in the north, we are expecting good response, and we are receiving good response. But with the launch of VST Zitor tractors, which we will be doing very soon, the unveiling of the product is happening on November 4th at Chandigarh CI Agri Expo, and the launch will happen later in Q4. So with that, we expect the response from the northern market to increase from current levels.
Okay, got it, sir. Also, what are the revenues from the export business in Q2, and does that continue to grow?
Yes, the export business has seen a slight decline in the month of August and September. This is primarily due to the issues in Europe, and we expect that to improve in the coming second half, as we've seen that in October and November, the orders have slowly started trickling in. I think the realities of what the winter would be and the inflation would be is kind of settled in, and now the orders have slowly started coming in again. So I expect again in Europe, the situation would get better, but I don't think it will be as buoyant as last year in terms of the tractor sales, especially in Europe.
Right, sir. Right, sir. One last question. Our quarterly revenue in the current quarter is more or less similar as compared to the revenue we reported in the same quarter 2 years back, which is September 2020. So what has been holding us back in terms of, I remember you mentioned supply chain issues. So are there any other such factors?
No, the revenue has definitely grown compared to September 2020. I'll just get back with the exact numbers, but definitely compared to last September, 2021, that was one of the highest revenues we had posted ever. So in comparison to that, we have had a slight growth. As I said, the retails in August and September was comparatively lower, and we always work on retails and consumption. So you have seen us, our billing has been in line with the consumption, which I have often repeated. So we saw that going down in August and September. We see that improving in October, and we find that it will translate into better revenues for the company going forward in H2.
Sure, sir. And just one final.
Just to clarify to you, Q2 of last year, 2020 was 220 crores.
Yeah. All right, sir. And one final question, if you could give us the volumes for power weeders and brush cutters in H1.
Yeah, power weeders was, just give you the exact numbers. Power weeders was close to 2,000 numbers for H1.
Okay, and brush cutters?
Brush cutters is around 600 to 700 numbers. I will give you the exact numbers, just give me a minute. I'll in between, I'm sure if you are on the line, I'll repeat it later also. I'll get the exact numbers to you.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Reminder to participants to press star and 1 to ask a question. We have our next question from the line of Harsh Gemawat. Please go ahead.
Hi, thanks for taking my question. Hi, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Yeah, sir. So just wanted to ask, so we've seen a drop in the tiller volumes in the last couple of quarters. So any specific reasons you would like to highlight for this?
No drop in volumes in the last couple of quarters. It's just last 2 months we have had in fact, last month we have had a drop. So I explained that it is in line with the retail. So the retail went down last 2 months. And last month the wholesale billing got affected because the consumption was not in line. So it was down only last 2 quarters we have grown. H1, in fact, we have grown in tillers. And both quarters, Q1 and Q2, we have grown in tillers.
Okay. No, I was talking about a quarter-on-quarter perspective. So I think compared to Q4 last year, so Q1 and Q2 were a little slower on the tiller side.
Yeah, Q1 was slightly better, and Q4 will be again better. See, there is cyclicity in terms of seasonality. in tillers, you will see the same cycle repeating every year. So the peak months for June, July and November, December actually is the peak months for tiller sales. And then March also plays a big role because of subsidy releases in many states. So these are the 5-6 months which are peak season. And based on these peak seasons on consumption, the quarter also turns out to be, with a higher growth. So last year, if you see, Q4 had a very large March figure. If you see that, you will find that. And this year, June, July was quite good. However, we had supply chain constraints in Q1, which you are aware about. I shared with all of you. And in Q2, as I said, July, August was slightly down. And Q3, we expect the season to be very good. Okay, understood, sir.
And sir, on the tractor segment, we've seen a stable demand kind of scenario. So are we seeing greater demand in the northern region picking up? And what is our plan to succeed in these new markets? What our plan to gain market share in these markets?
Yes. So see, tractor industry is 90,000 roughly, or 10% roughly in the compact tractor space, wherein we are predominantly present. And the rest of the 90% market is the higher horsepower. And if you see the higher horsepower growth, it has been happening more in the north of the country. And the larger markets for the compact tractors is Gujarat and Maharashtra, which in the first half of this year has been slow. So which impacted our volumes as well. Now we are scaling up on both higher horsepower as well as compact tractors. So in second half, we expect the compact tractor industry to pick up in Maharashtra and Gujarat because the rains has been good and all the festival retails has been good. So we expect it to pick up. And higher horsepower, as I shared earlier, with the launch of Zetor and the unveiling of the product happening just 1 week from now and the launch of product in Q4, we are expected to pick up volume from the higher horsepower segment as well.
Okay, understood, sir. Okay, sir, I'll get back in the queue, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have the next question from the line of Arjun Khanna from Kotak Mahindra Asset Management. Please go ahead.
Sir, thank you for taking my question. Sir, just looking at the balance sheet, so if you could help us, we see receivables actually spike up in the first half by almost 55 crore rupees. Could you help us understand why was this the case?
Yeah, so we had to kind of look at sales institutionally in the power tiller segment.
Right.
So where
Sure.
we extended some receivables for which the collections are coming now.
Sure. Which was obviously not the earlier years because of this B2B business. So you don't foresee any bad debts, etc. from this side?
No, not at all.
So this is not like what we used to earlier extend to states and which potentially...
No, not at all.
Okay, perfect. No, this is very helpful. Secondly, if you look at the inventory side, we do see a buildup of inventory also. Is this for the new Zetor launch? And would this correct once the launch is done?
See, Arjun, like last 2 years, what has happened to us is we lost sales in June, July, and we lost sales in November, December, and March, wherein we had the peak seasons for power tillers. So this year, what we decided is the season is definitely all indicators. Water availability is there, crop prices are good, minimum support prices have gone up. Considering all of these aspects, we feel the season is going to be pretty buoyant in H2, for which we have built inventory, which is especially in the power tiller segment, we have built inventory. In the TOC way of working, unless the norms are set higher, we cannot produce. So we have set the norms higher and built in inventory consciously to avoid any loss of sale, which we have experienced in the previous quarters.
Sure. So if you could just help us with the capex outlook. We've spent only 15 crores in the first half. We had given an outlook of a much higher capex if one annualizes this number. If you could help us understand, would second half be exceptionally heavy in terms of capex?
Yes, we have roughly about 50 to 60 crores of capex that is planned this year, against which the spend has been about 15 crores in H1. We will be quite close to our 60-year capex target for this year.
Sure. That's helpful. So just the last question I had for Zetor, which we are launching our product. Do we have a sense how many units we expect to sell for the second half?
In the second half, it will be lower number because we're launching only in Q4.
Sure.
But the real volumes are going to grow in the next year. We are looking at upwards of 1,500 to 2,000 tractors next year.
Coming from this higher HP Zetor range.
From the Zetor, yes.
Sure. Just a continuation of that question, we were potentially looking at the Africa market for Zetor also. Is that in your 2,000 number, or that if and when that does occur, would be over and above?
The African market numbers will come after the four-wheel drive is launched, major numbers, which will be the latter half of next year. That is not considered in this 1,500, 2,000 number.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much and wishing you all the best, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, to ask a question, please press star and 1 on your phone. We have our next question from the line of Anirudh Singhi from Dalal and Broacha Portfolio Managers. Please go ahead.
Hi, thank you for taking my question. So we've spoken about this 3,000 crore target by FY25. So could you provide a roadmap about how we're going to achieve this?
The first task is we will be crossing the 1,000 crore milestone this year. The next 2 years we have done a workout. It is looking like 2,000 plus by FY25. But all out efforts are being taken to ensure that the 3,000 crores happen at least by FY26.
Okay. And this
I want to add one more, if I may. See, once this vision has been set, we have not had a single normal year. We had COVID, then we had commodity inflation, we had all sorts of issues coming up. So we took a complete review of this 3,000 crore milestone. It looks like we will be delayed by 1 year and we will be able to hit it in FY26.
Okay. And the growth will largely be from a new range of tractors, right? From the Zetor range of tractors.
Tractors, SSM, a lot of investment is going into small farm mechanization. We are looking at a lot of innovative products coming out of the small farm mechanization segment. We are looking at growing our tractor range. Like last time I explained, we are wanting to enter the US market with our compact tractor range. We are also getting into a serious play in our electric range of tractors. So all these will contribute, and like I shared in the last call, many of the projects that we had started 2 years, 3 years back is coming into the stage of revenue realization at this point. Going forward in the next 6 months to 1 year, these projects are getting into a revenue realization mode, which will give us the quantum gem that we are looking at.
Okay. Secondly, we signed supply agreements with FarmTech Taiwan and MTD USA. Could you just talk about that? What products is this related to?
Yeah, this is mostly related to brush cutters and small farm machines, which we have alliance with FarmTech Taiwan and MTD USA.
Okay. And MTD USA, that is for?
Brush cutters and small farm machines. Different range of machines.
Okay. And lastly, we started supplying pumps in UP and Bihar. So are we manufacturing these or are these just traded products?
I didn't hear your question properly. Could you kindly repeat it?
Yeah. I think on the last call we mentioned that we started supplying pumps in.
Electric pump business we are trading right now.
Okay. And how much revenue could we do from this business, from the pump business?
This is first year, and we are, as you rightly said, we are just piloting it in 2 states, and we are setting up a complete digital distribution network. The figures would be 5 to 10 crores this financial year.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Thank you. That's all from me.
Thank you. We have our next question from the line of Shashank Kanodia from ICICI Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, sir. Sir, firstly, just wanted to get a sense that the metal prices have corrected sharply. So we did see some benefits.
Sorry, but your voice is not audible. I think.
Mr. Kanodia, please use your handset.
Okay, yes. Yeah, so good evening. I'm audible now?
Yeah, better.
So, sir, just wanted to get a sense on the raw material pricing front. So the metal prices, namely steel, have corrected sharply. We did see some benefits flowing to us in Q2. So what is it, what numbers that we should be working about in terms of, expansion in gross margin for us, given the fact that we've already taken price hikes?
Yeah, so compared to last year, the Q2 material cost has gone up by almost 5%, as you can see in the financials. And on an H1 basis, it is about 4.37%. So, it is cooling off. We have seen slight reduction in Q2. We expect further reduction to happen as consumption of inventory happens in Q3. Right. But it is not still at October 2020 level.
Right. And sir, in this case, do we have to go to state governments and renegotiate prices, or do we retain the benefits of lower RM cost?
These state government prices are predominantly for the power tiller segment, which we are doing, and some of the state governments have revised the prices.
Okay. Secondly, sir, in the recent past, there was a product launch by the name of Swaraj Code by M&M, right? Pitted against the power tiller segment. So, just want to get a sense, so has it really dampened the power tiller space, and how do you see this as a competition to our traditional product?
We have evaluated the product and we find it to be interesting, but the functionality-wise, the power tiller still offers much more functionality than this particular product that we are talking about. So it has not dampened the sale of power tillers at all.
Okay. But that product will not qualify for subsidies by state governments, right? Or will it be?
No, it is not qualified under the segment of power tiller.
Okay. And so despite all our efforts to increase the power, our tractor sales volume, first half of this fiscal year, even the last fiscal year, we have underperformed the industry quite sharply, right? So what kind of volume numbers can we expect for tractors and power tillers for this year?
Like I said, power tillers is 15 to 20% growth this year you can expect, and the tractors will be at a lower single-digit growth.
Okay.
So we intend to recover in Q3 and Q4, simply because we are launching multiple products which we had a product gap for in the vineyard market and also in the higher horsepower range. So these products are being launched in Q3 and Q4, with which we expect to get our volume back on track, and we should end up with single-digit growth.
Okay. So this launching of new products, will it have an impact on margins in terms of greater A&P spends, or do you wish to sustain in this?
There won't be much impact of margins because we have been able to manage our material cost vis-a-vis the commodity inflation pretty well.
Okay. So the range of margins should be roughly 13 to 14% for us, right? Sustainable.
Like as I said in the last call, if you remember, I said we will be back this quarter in the guidance range. We are back in the guidance range, and I think it can only get better. Unless, of course, there is a disruption again.
Understood. Thank you so much, and wish you all the best.
Thank you. We have our next question from the line of Sonal Gupta from L&T Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Good afternoon. Thanks for taking my question. Sir, could you repeat the small farm mechanization revenues for this quarter?
It is 136.8 crore.
136.8. And tractors was 63.3 or something.
63 crore.
63. And parts is?
Roughly 23.5.
23.5. Okay. And sir, just on, continuing with the tractor question, because that's been a concern now that like we've had 5 quarters of negative growth, and even while the industry has seen a turnaround, we are unable to see a turnaround. So, I mean, like, when are the new launches coming? And I mean, like, are they addressing certain meaningfully large portions of the market that you were not catering to?
Exactly. So, point number one, I would like to reiterate what I kind of mentioned earlier. We participate only in 10% of the tractor industry. This is the compact tractor segment, predominantly. So 80 to 90%, more than 90% of the sales come today only from compact tractors. In that sense, in the last few quarters, the compact tractor segment has not been growing. Compact tractor segment doesn't mean less than 30 horsepower. It means compact tractor, four-wheel drive tractor. So these tractors are used in pomegranate farms, grape vineyards, and specific niche applications. And in the last few quarters, this market has not grown. Point number one. Point number two, we are growing and we are entering into the higher horsepower industry to garner growth from that segment which is growing, where we are launching the VST Zetor range of tractors in Q4, and we have other launches of tractors happening again from the VST stable in this higher horsepower range, with which we feel that we will be able to grow. Specifically to say, we are launching a 28 horsepower tractor, we are launching a 36 horsepower tractor, we are launching a 45 and a 49 HP tractor, apart from which we are launching a VST Zetor range.
Well, so sorry, you were launching like 4 higher HP, 26, 20, 32, and then 45,
Yeah.
49.
Yeah.
And plus the range.
Yes.
But any reasons for launching so many together?
Because we had these product gaps, as you said.
Right. But I mean, like I thought we did launch some higher HP tractors last year. Sorry if I'm wrong on that.
Yeah, that was the first range of products, first ever higher HP, which we had to refurbish completely and do a complete relaunch.
Right. And I mean, like, are these so from that launch, have we gained some idea in terms of
In the last 2 years, first year we did about 1,000 tractors. The second year we maintained 1,000 tractors. Then we said, okay, if we want to enter into further, especially the northern markets, we need to have certain, I would say positioning benefits in terms of pricing, for which we had to redesign the entire offering in these northern markets, which we will be launching now.
Got it. And this, sorry, the range would overlap with your higher HP, right?
Zetor range offering will be in a premium range.
Yes, but it will be the 45 to 49, right?
Yeah, 45 and 49, but at a very different positioning. The features and benefits will be very different. It will be the premium range of tractors compared to any other premium multinational product.
Got it. And just lastly, I mean, how is the thing on the, I mean, like on the distribution business side, right? If you could just talk about that.
Distribution we are setting it up in UP and Bihar. The digital pilots are on. Like I said, we should end up this year at around 5 crores kind of turnover. But this is just the final first year where we are test piloting it in just 2 states of the country.
Got it. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, to ask a question, please press star and 1 on your phone. We have our next question from the line of Kunal Sabnis from 9 Rivers Capital. Please go ahead.
Hi. Thanks a lot for the opportunity. With respect to the tractor export volumes, we did about 1,400 crores, 1,400 units
1,400 numbers,
last year. Yeah. What is the first half number? And you said you expect a degrowth. So, I mean, if you could sort of quantify that for this year.
We did about 600 numbers in the first half.
Okay.
I expect to close at around 1,200 numbers.
Okay, so that's about 200 units lower.
Yeah.
So, and okay, fair. In terms of power feeders, you said about 2,000 numbers, and which was what you did in full last year.
Correct.
Great. And how are we placed in terms of sort of manufacturing it here? I mean, how much have we scaled up, or we are still entirely importing and selling?
Right now we are importing, but definitely we are planning to manufacture it in India.
So we haven't started even assembling.
We haven't started it yet. Yeah.
Okay. And finally, on the other expenses part, it's sort of been volatile through the quarters. So if you could sort of give what is the, so if you look at quarter one numbers for a similar top line, the other expenses adjusting for M2M was roughly about 22 crores versus 16 crore in quarter two. So drop of 6 crores, whereas your revenue was sort of flattish. So if you could sort of, explain what's playing out there?
There was a mark-to-market loss on the investments in the first quarter.
Yeah, even adjusting for that, it was 22 crores.
Yeah. Some more details CFO will give.
See, basically, there were some major savings on two heads. One, we were able to drive several fixed cost savings projects in this quarter two, which has brought some savings. Secondly, on the logistics side, we have tried to renegotiate our contract and also bring in new vendors. So a lot of savings we have brought in, even logistics costs also. So these were main two front runners for the cost saving. So
does that mean the other expenses line item as a percent to revenue should be about 7%? I mean, which is you did about 6.8 in quarter two. Does that stay at a similar level?
It will remain lower, Kunal. However, there would be expenses which we will be doing towards branding, doing towards other expenses to grow the business, which might increase the expenses to the same level as before. But if you look at the systemic corrections done in logistics and the other fixed expenses which CFO was talking about, that will remain to be the same.
Got it. And so hence the maximum improvement should happen from the gross margin perspective line item.
Absolutely.
Great. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. We have our next question from the line of Harsh Gemawat. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thanks for taking my question again. Sir, I just wanted to ask, what was the share of rice planters in this quarter?
Rice planters we have stopped about 3 quarters back.
Oh, okay. Okay, understood, sir.
Just to give the numbers on brush cutter, we have done about 800 brush cutters and about 1800 weeders for the first half, which is more than, slightly more than last quarter we have done last year.
Okay, understood. And sir, what are the current inventory levels at dealership level?
Our inventory on tractor about 35 to 40 days of inventory, and for the tillers it is at about 50 to 60 days.
So what is the normalized inventory level in tillers?
In tillers, normalized is again at around 40 to 45 days.
40 to 40. So we are currently at a little bit higher inventory side. So saying that the second quarter will be... Hello?
I explained why consciously we have taken it up to manage the peak season demand that is coming up.
So we might see a little bit of slowdown, right, in the second half of this year.
Tiller industry is very different from... So the peak season is coming for tillers.
Okay, understood. And sir, previously you had flagged off a little concern that Chinese tillers were still being imported in India through different routes. So would you like to highlight a little bit on that? Is that still going on?
No, I have not highlighted. I am not aware whether... I don't know that anything is being imported from China in terms of tillers. There is still imports happening of weeders, but tillers no import is happening that I am aware of.
Okay, understood, sir. And sir, what kind of price hike did we take any price hike in this quarter?
We did take a price hike on tillers at about 2,000 rupees per unit.
Per unit. Okay. Understood. And sir, just lastly, would like to really know your industry outlook for tractors and tillers in the next 2 years.
Industry of tillers is going to be driven by us, and I expect it to grow at a CAGR of about 20% because it will reflect our growth. And the tractor industry looks like a single-digit growth this year. That's why what everybody is predicting. But if we come back to our segment of compact tractors, I expect it to remain flat.
Okay. Understood. So lower compact tractors will be kind of flattish for this year. Okay.
Yeah.
Understood. Okay, sir. That's all from my side.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, to ask a question, please press star and 1 on your phone. For any further questions, please press star and 1 on your phone. We have a question from the line of Devanjit Sampath from Yes Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hello, sir. Good afternoon. So I think from what you had said earlier that the Ximeno and Monarch tractors launch is expected in early 2023. So can you give a sense on what is the expectation we can have from a FY24 perspective from this business?
Of course, Ximeno Inc. is a completely different entity. We are investors and suppliers to them. So I won't be able to give you exact numbers, but I can broadly tell you that the launch is very soon. As said, early 23 still remains, and the launch should happen. And from what I hear from them, there is great response to the product, and we expect good numbers of that to happen. But I don't have a definite figure with me right now.
Okay, sir. So correct me if I'm wrong. I think I may have seen this somewhere online, but this is with Foxconn getting involved? This is the same project, right?
Foxconn is going to manufacture for Monarch. So Monarch has an arrangement with Foxconn. You're right.
So we'll be supplying the basic assembly entirely, right? Like 100% exclusive.
We are giving them the gear train, the front axle, and the rear axle.
Okay.
And we are in development for some other components as well.
Okay. So I would assume it to be a large scale project, right? So there must be some numbers that you must be working with, or you must be geared up for the next year. So if you can.
But it's too early to spell that numbers out. I mean, unless we really get going, giving that number out probably would lead to wrong estimations. So I would wait for some more time before we can talk more in detail on that.
Sure. Okay. I'll await an update from you next quarter. Thank you. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you. We have our next question from the line of Shashank Kanodia from ICICI Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So just wanted to check about the profitability of high HP tractor segment, given that there are a lot of players domestically. So it's going to be a similar margin profile of what you realize these days, or it's going to be a tad lower than the existing profile?
It will be a tad lower than the current range of compact tractors for us because, as you rightly said, we are the newer entrants and we need to be quite competitive. So it will be a tad lower than what we have currently, but definitely we won't do any business without profits on the books.
Right. So, sir, with the kind of product launches that we're targeting, we should be comfortably doing something like 10,000 units next year, right, in the tractor space?
Yes.
Okay. Understood. Yeah, that's all from my side, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. As there are no further questions from the participants, I now hand the conference over to management for closing remarks.
So thank you everyone and season's greetings to all of you. Great to be interacting with you, all of you once again. Thank you so much.
Thank you. On behalf of Batliwala and Karani Securities, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.
The conference is no longer being recorded.